morning, everyone. Happy Monday. I am here with my lovely model, Anna. So today they titled this live, Tricks to Treat Your Client. So you see what they did there with the Halloween reference. But if you're here on the live today, we're going to be talking about little tricks that you can do behind the chair to make your life easier, to treat your client, how communication is key, and what all goes into a consultation and a proper salon blowout. So when we were talking about this live, we were discussing that you guys at home sitting watching me blow dry hair for an hour with the noise level and all of that is just really not practical. So what I'm going to do is go through a few things. I'm going to spray down a portion of her hair to show you the techniques. And then I'm going to answer any questions you guys have. Then we're going to cut the live. And if you tune back into our page, we'll have like an image of what her finished look is. And then I'm going to do a how-to video on it. So later on, when it's all edited, you can come back and check it out if you'd like to see what her final blowout looks like. So today we're going to get started as if we are behind the chair with my lovely client, Anna, and how I would begin my appointment with the client. So just to start out, just so you guys know, most of my clients behind the chair I've been doing for a very long time. So they've become friends of mine, which is a plus and a minus, because you get in your comfort zone and you want to just walk up to the client and be like, what's up? So we doing the same? And then head back to the mixing room. And sometimes that's cheating the client out of what they might want. Like, maybe she doesn't want me just to go mix the same thing. Maybe she's been struggling with her hair. She doesn't know what products to use or what to do. So this happened to me recently, which is why I'm pointing it out. At my salon, there's a large standalone station. I stand on one side. My assistant is usually doing hair on the other side. I had a brand new customer in my chair. I was giving her this full-blown, wonderful consultation about how to style her hair, what we're gonna do, what products I'm gonna use. And my client on the other side, who is a little outspoken and one of my dearest friends, she peeks around and she says, hey, how come I never get that consultation? So it was a great reminder to me that although it does take a little bit extra time, it's worth it just to at least start the conversation. If it goes nowhere, then hey, go mix the color. But I found that that's important. Also, it creates consistency through my entire staff. So as you guys know, I own a salon. We've implemented new consultation policies recently, and it's really helped the whole process. So I'm gonna go over a little bit of that with you guys too, and feel free to ask any questions or DM me later if you're watching this later in the day. So the first thing is, I have a tendency to talk into the mirror, just like I'm talking right now into Anna. And I think that it is, if you can do it, it's worthwhile to kind of step away and like look at your client so that you're speaking like more on a conversational tone versus just at them in the mirror. Sometimes I'll sit down or, something like that. So this is where I would start out and this is why I have a tendency to talk in the mirror, because as I'm talking, I'm like checking out all the things. So let's just start by saying Anna's booked for a haircut today, just a haircut, no color, no anything else. So as I'm talking to her without telling her, I'm going to be checking to see, did Gary cut your hair?
Yes.
To make sure Gary cut her hair straight. I'm going to look and see what's going on with the haircut. I'm checking her scalp, all of those kind of things before we even get started. And then I'm going to ask her, what she likes about her cut, if she's growing it out, all those kind of questions, which I'm not going to put her on the spot with that today because we're just going to be doing a blowout. But that's where the conversation would go before I even got started. So at my salon, we have little consultation notepads. You can make these on Canva and print them up on any printing sites. And it's just on a little pad like this. It helps me have consistent pricing all throughout the service. It also helps the client be at ease, because like Anna is used to working with Gary here. You can't see her now. Anna's used to working with Gary. As she came in, she already said, oh, this is going to be different. I'm, used to being with Gary. That's the same as in the salon. If someone's gone to me the whole time, now they're sitting in someone else's chair, they're going to be really nervous. Like, is this going to be more expensive? Is this going to be the same process? Like, what's going to happen? Is she going to put a whole bunch of yucky hair on me and send me down the runway? You just don't know. So these have really streamlined the process for us, not only for pricing, but also for products. So if she was just getting a haircut, we would discuss whether we were doing a whole change on her hair or just a trim. And at my salon, there's a pricing difference based on that. So say she said she's growing it out, we're just gonna do a trim, then I would go ahead and mark that on here. And then this is where I would start discussing the products. So I feel like the product consultation goes into four points. So there's your cleansing, so that's your shampoo, conditioner, all that stuff. There's prepping, there's styling, and then there's finishing. So that's how Unite breaks down their products. So since she said she's just getting a trim, she's trying to grow it out, what I would be telling her now is like, okay, I'm gonna start by shampooing you with the Weekender shampoo. That's the clarifying shampoo. It's going to remove any of these oils that you see on your hair. And then we're going to go in maybe with the Blonda shampoo. So that would just brighten her blonde a little bit. And then some 7 seconds conditioner for her ends. That's going to add the moisture and shine. And then at this point is when I could just start discussing masks with her. At my salon, it's an upcharge for a mask. It takes 15 minutes under the dryer, or they can stay at the bowl, but it has lasting results. And most clients, if given the opportunity, would gladly opt in for the mask so that their hair it kind of just completes the haircut service. So at that point, I would go wash her hair. So that's basically how a consultation works at where I'm at. This is what I suggest for you guys to do too, to really break down exactly what you're gonna do. The pricing is upfront and secure. So we're doing the haircut, I would write that down, and then there's an option on here for add-ons with the conditioning treatment. I would add that on. I'd be like, Anna, your total is gonna be $125. Are you okay with what we discussed? And then she would sign it on the line so that we're both on the same page. The other a little business tip for you, the other good thing about having a signed piece of paper like that is if Anna calls later or calls her credit card company or anything like that and tries to dispute the charge, if you don't have anything written and in paper, it's really hard to win the case because it's kind of like he said, she said thing. So you are 100% winning if you have that paper filled out. And then from an owner standpoint, if for some reason my hairdresser is charging her $200 for a haircut and she calls me and says, hey, why did I get charged $200? If she signed to it, then I'm assuming there was some kind of conversation as to why that went into place. So, and for the client's benefit, it keeps pricing consistent because it's right there on the sheet what it's gonna cost. So just a little tip, I think it's really great. We take a photo of those and upload it into the client's profile. So not only do they know what products were used last time, they know how much they were charged, all of that stuff, and it takes a total of 5 minutes. It's not like a big, huge thing. And it's like really streamlined a lot of processes for us at the salon. We doing good, Mike?
Yeah,
that was great. A lot of information.
I know. I actually have a question on that, like last little thing about product. Like,
yeah.
Do the people that work at your salon, they find it difficult to sell product? Do they feel too salesy? How do you approach that whole aspect of the business?
So I think you have to kind of change your mindset a little bit because I'm the worst at selling, but I'm the best at like recommending things to my friends. So you've got to think that like you're not gatekeeping, right? Like you got to let the people know all your secrets. So I would tell my best friend what I was using, so why would I not tell my customer? She deserves to know too. So I think that kind of mindset, and then there's no push, right? So if Anna wants to buy everything that I set up, she can buy everything that I set up. And like I said, it's broken into 4 categories. So say today she's like, Allison, I can only start somewhere, then you start with shampoo and conditioner. And then the next time she comes in, she still has shampoo and conditioner, so we'd go on to the, prepping. which I'm going to get into as I do her hair. But I think that's the biggest misconception. The days of being like, you have to buy this, that doesn't work. So this is just more about like, this is what I use at home for real. So look, the money that we make on it isn't worth me compromising what I wouldn't tell you I was using something if I wasn't. So you should see my makeup counter. Like, so there's that. And I think that that's important to kind of just remember. If you do have an issue, here's a good point to that question. If you do have an issue recommending products, you can, and this works great in the salon, you can include products into your pricing. So say she was dark and I was going to make her blonde today. I might insist that she has Blonda shampoo because I know that's going to help keep the tone, till I see her the next time. Or maybe she's going to go bright red today and I know that the red isn't going to stay in this blonde very well. If she goes home and uses a grocery store shampoo, it's going to strip it right out, and then she's going to be coming in and paying for a toning service sooner than she would need to. So sometimes by just including it in there, then they're already, getting that product. So like, hey, yeah, I'm going to color your hair all red. Chances are it's going to fade. But if you use this color safe shampoo and conditioner, it's going to lock it in and we have a better chance of making it stay. That whole package, shampoo, conditioner, and all over color is going to be $150. Sound good? And then if she flips out and can't, do it, then you can, make adjustments. Like, okay, I can take the product off, but just so you know, I'm not guaranteeing that the color is going to stay. You might be here in 2 weeks instead of 8 weeks, or something like that. So I do know a lot of people that have really good success with adding it on. And if you think of like Brazilian blowout or some of these other smoothing treatments, that's 100% what they do. Like, you want this keratin treatment to last, you have to use the products that go with it. So hair cutting, styling, all of that stuff is no different. If I'm curling her hair, oh, how'd you do that? Well, you have to use this, So I think those are two easy ways, like changing your mindset so you're just talking to your friend, and also, bulking the price together.
Great.
So good to move on?
Go for it.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do is show you some tricks on what I do for a blowout in the salon. The first thing I see is that she's got some fringe here, so I really want to show you guys creamy paste. Would somebody be able to grab me a towel? Might make this one. Creamy paste. I feel like this is like an underused product. I could be wrong, but because Unite has 3 pucks, sometimes people don't know the difference between each one. So creamy paste to me is most similar to the 7 seconds blow dry cream. Could you grab that for me? The blow dry cream. So it is a thickening. It's black, right? So then it has to be used on wet hair. So it's a thickening cream. If someone has, in my opinion, like chin length and shorter, you could use this product in her entire hair before you blow out. If it's chin length or longer, then that's when you're going to use the blow dry cream. A good tip is if the bottle's, thank you. If the bottle's small, you're not using very much product. If it's large, you're using a little bit more. So shorter hair, you would use this. Longer hair, you would use that. But for me, the secret tip for this is on fringe. Like, even if I'm using 100 other products on her hair for the bangs, it adds volume and separation, and it's weightless. So we're gonna get started with that. So if we were in the salon, she would now have her hair completely wet. We would be going on to the prep portion of the products. So I always prep with the 7 seconds spray. This is like a go-to favorite across the board. It does so many things, but most importantly, it's gonna help you detangle, and it speeds up your blow dry and acts as like a heat barrier as you're getting ready to style. So with her hair not even combed out yet, I would spray that all over, and then I would decide which oil I was gonna use. If the hair's darker, thicker, denser, you oil. If it's blonder or finer, so even dark hair, if it's finer, I tend to go with this one. You could still do this one and do less, but those are my preferences. So dark, thick hair, light, thinner hair. So on her, I would obviously use this one. And like I said, so she just came out of she's still got a towel on her head. She just came out of the shampoo bowl. I wouldn't even detangle it yet. I would be spraying the 7 seconds all over and then putting the U oil like mid shaft to ends. And then I would start, combing it out. The combination of those two for prep are getting you ready for your blowout, like increasing the speed, the dry time, the shine, eliminating frizz, all of those factors, and also making it easier for you to comb out. So let's get her bangs wet. So I'm just gonna clip her other hair out of the way. If anybody has any questions, okay.
Just kind of update anybody that's just now tuning in. So you're just gonna separate half of the head and then just demonstrate a blowout on the one side, right?
Well, I'm gonna do her bangs right now, but then yes, I'm gonna do that. So I'm just getting it wet so that I can blow dry her bangs. And because I'm gonna use the creamy paste, I'm gonna make sure it's really wet. And making sure not to get her wet, since Astrid did such a great job on her makeup.
Thank you.
Okay. So for those of you that are new to Unite, if you see a Unite product and it's got black writing at the bottom, that means it's for wet hair. I mean, we're hairdressers, we all break the rules, but that is the specified use. So that means it needs to be heated up to work. So don't tell me you used this on someone's hair dry and it was all greasy, I know, right? Like, that's not how you're supposed to use it. So this is also great on men's hair. So if you think of anyone you want to like thicken, separation, all that kind of definition, it's great for this. But even on a man, you're gonna have to blow dry it in. Astrid, you're gonna get kicked out of the class.
I went live.
Okay, so I'm just using barely any product, rubbing it completely into my hands, and then I'm just gonna go through and get it on her bangs, especially on the root area. I know it feels weird to put a cream all the way up to the scalp, but that's where we want the volume. So once we get that all in, combing it through. So like I was saying, if she had short hair, chin length and above, I would do that same technique all the way through her hair. If it was a guy, same thing, all the way throughout, and then you're gonna start heating it up with the blow dryer. If they have this length hair, so chin length or longer, then you're gonna use the blowout cream. Okay, so I'm gonna turn on my blow dryer. I'm just gonna be blow drying her bangs forward with the round brush, and you guys will be able to see, because you saw it dry to wet, how much like volume and definition you get in the blow dry. But it's just gonna be one piece, so it won't be on that long.
What settings on the blow dryer?
I always blow dry on high. If you're not comfortable with the blow dryer, of course turn it down, but I feel like I'm wasting my time if it's on anything but high. So for her, the technique is going to be rolling it under and then over. Oh, you can't see me. So the technique is going to be under, but you can imagine that would make like little girl bangs, which we don't want. So then we're going to go the other way with the brush on top. And we're concentrating on the root area. We're not worrying about the ends until the very end. So this is when you decide how you're doing her bangs. So one of my pet peeves at the salon, and another trick for you guys, is I hear a lot of people saying like, where do you part your hair? Now you need to know that for sure when you're finishing. But at this stage in the game, especially in the front area, if you blow dry it all forward, the technique I just told you, so under, up, then split it where it needs to go, and then you can finish the last 2 blow dry pieces where the part goes. On bangs, I don't part at all. I just let nature kind of take its course, right? So I blow dry it, and then if there's a part in it, like her bangs are longer right now, so obviously we want her to be able to see, so wherever that kind of parts, or we could do, you know, kind of like the curtain-y sort of bangs. So those are some options with fringe.
Great. Do you use the concentrator nozzle every time for this?
I do. I always use the concentrator. I know, I guess you could take it off for rough drying. It just kind of defeats the purpose for me. I still feel like I can do it even with the concentrator on. It definitely, anytime you're round brushing, you need to have it on because it protects you from burning the client's hair by putting the crate of the blow dryer up against the metal brush. So I'm using a metal brush on her because I do want to get some curl. For me, the biggest determining factor between a bore and a metal brush is this. I think of it as heating up like a curling iron. So if I want to really add curl, I tend to go towards this brush. This one is great for smoothing and adding shine. I can still curl with it, but it's more of a smooth curl, not a curling iron curl. So if you think metal like a curling iron, that's the easiest way to decipher between the 2 brushes. Okay, so I'm gonna turn it on. Okay, so if you noticed when I was doing that, I did not do what I said I was gonna do. When I got in there to do her bangs, she has way more than what I was anticipating. So I'm gonna do the next step of the blow dry, but I just wanted to show you, if you were to dry them all under, she would never wear her bangs like this, right? But somebody might.
I like it.
Do? Okay,
Yeah.
We're done. We're done. We're done.
I think it looks great.
But you can for sure see like the volume and the separation that you get from that product. So even, this is why I always tell my assistants not to flip out. I feel like assistants always hate doing short hair and bangs when they first start. And so they're drying it like this and they're freaking out. This is another time when just communicating with your client is so key, because if I told her, hey, I'm gonna blow dry your bangs right now, if they're gonna be really bouncy and curled under, but don't worry, I have a plan, then she's fine. She could stare at herself in the mirror like this all day long, and hey, she might even like it, you know? So I do have a couple clients that I leave their bangs like this because they tell me they fall flat, and so we just leave it. But on her, I do want it to kind of swoop a little bit more, you know, so I'm gonna, you know, but even just playing with them, you can tweak them however you want. So in the salon, my assistants will blow dry like that, where it's really bouncy, and then leave it. And then by the time I've come over, it's kind of settled, and then I can tweak it however I want. That product gets reactivated every time you put the heat on it again. So that's another great thing. but it's just the talking to the client, right? Like, if my assistant is already nervous and acting new, and then she blow dries it like a, schoolgirl, and then doesn't say anything to the client and walks off, what do you think's gonna happen? She's gonna be like, oh, in the mirror. But if she says, hey, look, there's a process, it's gonna be like that, and then Allison's gonna come fix it, then they don't touch it, they don't stress, they don't worry. So I did dry that all under for the most part. Now I'm gonna go in where I can see where it parts, and I'm just gonna smooth it and kick these ends out a little bit. But I think that was a good visual demonstration of, even on dirtier bangs, what you can get by spraying them down and adding the product. Also a great tip for if someone's cutting their fringe for the very first time, like that hair like mine, and now you're cutting it off and you don't want it to part right there, that product's gonna be your best friend because it's gonna help to like retrain the hair. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in, blow dryer is gonna be on top, and I'm gonna kind of like kick the ends out a little bit. Good?
Great.
If Mike likes it, we're good. What?
Margot Robbie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's easier, you can have her face you more.
Okay. So you were asking about the nozzle. Another thing that I do, especially when I'm in the front of someone's hair, is change where you're holding the blow dryer, because I feel like I have a lot of control and I can get really close to her head and not worry about burning her. If you're here all the time, it's like, this is the heaviest part of the dryer. Like, it feels like you don't have as much control. So at least on the Unite dryer, this does not get hot. You can kind of get in there.
It's easier on your body too, over time, over and over again. Your shoulders are probably shot.
Totally. Like this, you could just see my wrist anyways, it's like moving. Where here, it's just I've got a good, hold on it. I'm barely moving my wrist. So. Yeah, so she could wear them forward, she could part them, she could move them around. That's part of the beauty of drying it that way, is it'll move kind of wherever she wants it to go. So I think that was some good tips for blow drying fringe using the creamy paste. At this point, if you wanted to go on to the finishing step, you could decide what hairspray you wanted to put in it. But obviously, like, her bangs already look fantastic, so I just don't even feel like we need to do anything to it. Okay, so during our consultation, she told me she wanted a big volume blowout. So whether that's like we're gonna leave it blown out straight, with some, she doesn't have a lot of layers. So whether we're gonna let it be, straight, whether we're gonna flip it out or go in like my hair and curl it, even someone that's wearing it straighter, like, you wanna have that volume kind of tousled feel. Not like a helmet head, but definitely where it jumps off of the scalp. So my go-to product combination for a big bouncy blowout is expand the volume on the roots. So this is like our root energizer. You can't see on me, but see how the nozzle's kind of shooting downwards? That allows you to spray it right on the scalp. So you're just gonna go through section by section and, spray it on her, and then, mix it all in. I'm gonna get this side wet and I will do it so you can see. So that would be step one. Then I would comb that through. This second product is Blow and Set Lotion. This is another one that I don't think enough people know about or use. Again, it's black, so wet hair has to be heated up with the blow dryer. This is kind of like your sculpting lotion. So whether I'm doing curls or blow dry, this is a great weightless product that can go, I mean, you could put it over her whole head, but since we're already gonna put the root energizer there, this product would go mid shaft to ends, and the blow dryer just glides through, but the client will tell you at the end that they can't even tell it was on their hair. So that. Then I could just stop there, but depending on what I'm doing, if her ends, I mean, her hair still looks totally healthy for how light it is. But if her ends were more like mine or someone who had balayage where it felt like you were like tugging through, a pea-size amount of this on the ends will help your blow dryer just glide through. And this one is dark blue, so that means wet or dry. So you could also use a pea-sized amount of this at the end to get rid of any flyaways or to tousle the curls if you wanted to add shine. So that's that product. And then as I'm blow drying it, if I wanted more volume, which I don't think we're gonna need, but this is great for that. If you're working with an assistant, as the round brush goes in, you can kind of turn the round brush up and they can spray on the roots, and then you can just heat it up as you go with the blowout. So that would be that. Okay, so you know what? I'm gonna actually do this side because it's gonna be easier for me. But I just want you guys to kind of get a visual of how flat her hair is right now. Oh yes, look at that pro. So maybe we'll just do this down the middle. That will be a great, then it's not like, well, there's more hair on one side. She cheated. So after the live today, we're gonna do some how-to videos on Anna too, which will be great. One of them will be the completed, like I was saying, completed look of this blow dry. I think we're also gonna do a long fashion week braid on her. So extending her length. And then I don't know, I'll have to think of the other looks. I'm excited. Haven't had a short hair model in here in a while, so that's gonna be fun.
So what you're saying is lots of great content.
Lots of great content.
So I've got maybe a dumb question.
Huh.
Is it typical?
I'm scared.
Is it typical to start with the fringe on a client service, or was that for demonstrative?
Actually, that's a really great question. I always start with the fringe because otherwise, by the time I get done drying all the rest, the bangs are all crazy, right? So even that's why my assistants freak out, because they want to just clip it out of the way and have me come do it when it's done. But however you're telling that to dry is what it's going to do. So even at home, when you're doing your own hair, just do those right away. It'll save you like a lot of hassle later, even if you don't have time to dry the rest of your hair. Okay, so we're gonna get this piece nice and wet. Super warm water, huh? Can you even feel it?
Yeah,
It's cold.
it's not bad.
And then a little blow drying tip. If you're just smoothing, like if I was going to use the boar bristle brush and just smooth this under, then you could use a section this big. But typically, I'm not using this, but if your round brush, I lost my words. If your round brush is this small, a section this big is going to be problematic. So you kind of want the section to be the same size as the round brush that you're using. So if I was going to go here, say I was going to round brush and add some wave in it, then that's the size we're looking at. Like I said, if we were going to smooth her out, then I would be okay with that bigger section. Okay, so expand the volume, shake it up. Turn her a little bit so you can see. And I think because the nozzle is slanted, you could see it goes right on where you want it to be placed. And then you could just leave it there, right? And I know that feels like it's a lot, but it really isn't, and it is weightless, so you're gonna be just fine. So then I go through and comb this through. So a lot of people ask me why not just go in with like Elevate mousse all over from root to end. So in this case, I want the hair to jump off her head and then be smoother on the way down. Elevate would make every hair fatter, and it's also a little bit more difficult to round brush through. So if I'm gonna be doing a bouncy blowout where I want it to bounce off the scalp and then be shiny and smooth at the ends, then it's Elevate and blow and set. And depending on how serious I am with the blow dry would be how much of the blow and set I'm gonna use. I could use maybe like a quarter size amount and just kind of rake it through the ends. But if I really want it to have the full potential of the product, then I'm gonna paint it on section by section like that and comb it through. Some hair that's necessary, some hair it's not. And these are little tips you can give your clients too when they're telling you, you know, their hair doesn't hold a curl, or, you know, it's all in the prep. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in. I think I'll do one with the smoothing brush and I'll do one with the metal brush. It won't be a complete look, but then you guys can see the difference between the two. So I'm going with the board bristle first. And same as, whoops, did I poke you? I'm sorry.
No.
Same as I was saying with the fringe, I always start with the roots first and then concentrate on the ends. So this is where I was saying if I wanted even more lift, this is where you could go in with your Boosta, and you're just gonna twist that up, spray it right on the root. If I wanted to, I could do a whole blowout leaving the brushes in like that, and it would cool down, and she would have lots of Instagram content from her whole head full of brushes. But the idea is that you're letting it cool, and when you use the proper section size along with the proper products, the brush will just come out. So how you remove the brush is also important. If I just pull this straight out, she's gonna have volume that jumps up, and it's just gonna be pulled straight and go under. If I want some wave in it, then I'm gonna kind of twist it as I pull it out. And if I want it to go under, then I'm gonna pull it out and then comb it on the top. So let's see. So see how much volume you got, and it added a little bit of twist. If I had combed it out the other way, but you can totally see how much volume you can get with that combination. If she had longer hair, this would be, you know, the weight of her shoulders would cause it to flip out. I think I can get this. So it's all in how you comb it out. And that product is gonna create the memory in the hair, so whichever style you wanna go. So it's flipping out there, but it's still popping up here. Yeah. Okay, so now we're gonna do a metal brush for that section. Same technique, that's just smooth. And I think you could probably see the shine. That's from the blow and set really, and also the boar bristle brush. It creates that really smooth, shiny finish. Gorgeous. Okay, metal brush. Okay, so same thing. And I also didn't mention before, you could see that I'm elevating it all the way up when I'm blow drying it. So that's gonna make it, have that volume. If I was holding it down here, like sometimes I'll just walk around the salon and be like, arms up, because if it's like this, if you're doing lazy arms, don't ask me why it's not. It has to be all the way up, right? Okay, so now we're gonna, on this one, because we're using the metal brush, so we want some more bend all throughout the hair. I am gonna spray it at the roots, but I'm also gonna do a spray on the brush as well. And it's already dry at this point, so you don't need to be taking it off and putting it back on and all of that kind of stuff. You're just heating the product up. Okay, so same thing, we're just gonna let that cool off a little bit. Even on this one, we could have put a Velcro roller in it, we could have left the brush in, any of those ideas work. Now I'm deciding, is it gonna go towards her face, away from her face? I think we'll go away just because this one kind of was leaning forward. So you just kind of twist it. And you can see how that has more of a curl in it than what the boar bristle did. It's also got a little bit of a fuzzier texture, which obviously we would smooth out when we combed it out, but you can see the difference even in the shine from that. The Busta sometimes can give like a little bit of a hairspray-like finish, but just simple combing it out, it comes right off. And then if you decided you were gonna curl it like how mine is, you could curl right on top of that, and she's already got the base built into the hair. So I think you can see, ooh, as I throw things, I think you can see the difference of what that would look like. Pretty good. So I really like the boar bristle on her though. It made it really shiny and pretty. Okay.
Is there a benefit to, so I know you're doing the different tools to demonstrate what they actually achieve. Is there a benefit, and would you ever do that around the whole head, like 2 different tools alternating?
Yeah, okay, so for practice, something you can do in the salon that we used to do when we would go teach product performance classes. I think it's a great idea to wash the hair, split it in half, and then do one product combination and one tool combination on one side, and do a different combination on the other side, but the same look in mind, because then you can really get an idea of which products you like better, which tools you like better, all of that kind of stuff. Now, as far as in one head, yes, but for me, it's more the hot tools that I alternate. So on a wavy bob, I almost never, hers is a little longer, so I could probably use a curling iron. But for my length hair, I don't ever use a curling iron on these little pieces. It's the Western Wave technique underneath and with a flat iron, and then I use a curling iron on the top. So you could alternate between metal and bore all the way up, but I don't see why you really would. It would defeat the purpose at the end, unless there was a specific thing like a really short hair, you know. So maybe size of brush, but not type of brush would be a better way to answer that. Yeah, so I think like just some tips for behind the chair, because like I'm gonna wash her hair, and then like I said, you can tune in later, but just a couple little product nuggets for you guys. If she was gonna be really sleek today, if we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna make her as flat and as straight as possible, then we would be using do we have it? Let me.
All alone.
In my zone.
Taking the opportunity to soak up the spotlight. We've got one comment that says that instant volume is stunning. Hard eyes.
Whoop whoop.
So job well done.
Okay, so this system is also a go-to favorite in the salon. It's the Silky Smooth. It's 3 parts. So like I was saying, you've got your cleanse, so your shampoo and conditioner, and then this would be the prep, so to speak. So in the salon, you can wash it and then spray this all over and then blow dry and flat iron it. That is how I do it. My clients tell me it feels like a keratin treatment for a good week, even after they wash it. So even if somebody is doing their hair with wave, if you do that, there's no flyaways whatsoever. It's that smooth, you know, flat to the head, sleek. So if somebody wants flatter curls, anything like that. So this whole line is great for that. So I kind of think that your shower, your shampoo bowl should sort of be like your closet. Like when you're in the shower, you should be deciding how you're going to do your hair when you wash it. Unless you're just doing a moisturizing, like a 7 seconds, you can style your hair however you want. But you're not going to use this system and then go try to get your hair to look like Shakira. It's just not going to happen. So I think if we think of the hair like fabric or clothing, then you kind of get more out of it. So this or laser straight, if we were going to do a sleek look. You can also spray that on wet hair and flat iron it through, but for most hairdressers that terrifies us. I know Gary does it all the time and loves it, but it scares the bejesus out of me, so I don't do it. But that product's great. And once your client sees it, they buy it, by the way, because that's one of those gatekeeping secrets. You're not going to keep that to yourself. You're going to be like, oh girl, why are you struggling with your hair when you could just use this? So that would be my sleek, my bouncy. Oh, another thing is dry shampoos. You always want to spray this, like if she said we just did this whole bouncy blowout on her, we could go through and spray the dry shampoo on before she ever leaves the salon. It'll help the oil not build up, so it'll make the blow dry last longer. I'll show you over here. If you spray it on hair that's already dirty, yeah, it'll work. It'll soak up the oil, but it's not going to last as long as if you do it on clean hair. So this is like a buildable product. Clean hair, reuse it as your hair gets dirty. So not after the gym, before. And this is weightless, and it dries totally translucent, so you can see, I mean, she has light hair, but it's darker at the roots. There's no product residue, nothing like that. And you can see it just puts a little life back in her root area. So that's a go-to. And then the fourth step of like the systems that I was talking about would be your finishing sprays. So which hairspray are you going to use to finish off the look? So just wrapping it up so that I can go wash her hair and then complete the look. You wanted to, you know, the consultation is like important for you and for the client so that they feel really comfortable with what you're going to do. Nobody likes sticker shock at the very end. So being upfront with the price is like the best thing you can do. Offering them the services, even if you're not sure if they want it, they can let you know. So adding conditioning treatments. How are you going to style it at the end of the blow dry? Oh, you want it sleek? Okay, we're going to use Silky Smooth, and this is why. This is going to encourage the client to also want to use those same products at home. Some tips for selling products is to just act like you're talking to your friend. And I mean, it's like being real, you know, like what you're using, they're going to respond to that a little bit more. And also, if it's really important that they take the product, then maybe bulking it in with the service. So on certain color services, like I'm going to insist if we're going to do this service, you're going to get this product, you know. Same with like any other thing. Yeah. So, oh, and then you could prescribe, you know, like I said, I have the little pads. Like I said, if anyone has questions about these, I can help you. But we have one of these for color. You know, you could get one for products too. And like I said, we take a picture of them and we keep it in the file so that we know, so that then if Anna calls the front desk and she's like, I'm coming in, can you please have all the products Allison used? I couldn't afford it, didn't have time to buy it last time, I want to come back in. Then I'm not back there like, oh, what did I use? It's all written there. And then like I said, legally speaking, you have a binding contract now that's been signed, so you're protected on both ends, because it's real easy to just click dispute, you know, and then you're like stuck behind the chair. So this is a good way to protect yourself. Okay, that was a lot of talking and not a lot of hair, but I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a lot, and I can't wait for you to see her big bouncy bob that I'm about to create.
Great job.
Bye, everyone. Oh, wait, no, not bye
We've got
yet.
our next live
Just
will be
kidding.
Monday, October 23rd with Mr. Gary Baker.
Okay.
And the topic is trends from Paris Week, Paris Fashion
yeah.
Week from this year.
Yeah, so Gary just got back from doing Fashion Week in Paris, and he's going to come on and tell you guys some of the looks. And I saw some of the images. They looked really cool, so I'll be tuning into that.
Great. And yeah, as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to email us at classrequests@unitehair.com and continue to follow us right here on Instagram.
Thank you. Bye.